Hello everybody, just before we start this video I'd like to say a very quick thank you to the wonderful Dynamic Clothing for sponsoring this video. They provide a wide range of over 1,500 different types of t-shirts for different styles, hobbies, interests, etc. It's an enormous range of many different types of clothing. And they're not bad either. I got sent this one over and to be honest it's pretty decent quality. You can check out their store in the link in the description and you can use code ACECREEPER for a 10% discount on any t-shirt. Right, let's get into the video. Hello everybody, I am AceCreeper and today I'm back with another Doctor Who Series 12 Everything We Know video, this time about Episode 7, Can You Hear Me? Coming out on the 9th, this Sunday. It's written by Charlene James and Chris Chibnall, and it's directed by Emma Sullivan. The synopsis for the episode is as follows. From ancient Syria to present-day Sheffield, and out into the wilds of space, something is stalking the Doctor and her friends. Team TARDIS embark on a mission that forces them to face their darkest fears. Quite vague, but moderately interesting, I'd say. There's a lot of different things around the trailers and the promotional images for this episode which don't give away too much, but again, it's just best guess at this point. I like the idea that it's focusing on the whole darkest fears type thing. A lot of the trailers and clips and promotional photos again seem to be taking place in a dark environment, even the shot inside the TARDIS where Ian Gelder's character sort of apparates. The TARDIS is sort of lit with a sort of dark red and dark blue light, which kind of gives it this sort of creepy nighttime naturalistic type vibe to it, which I actually kind of really like. After episode 3 was kind of hyped up to be the scary one with the dregs, and it just ended up being possibly the stupidest one and probably the worst one of the series. It would be nice to have an actual horror kind of scary episode maybe that actually focuses on this sort of fear type thing. I'm thinking we're probably going to get Listen vibes from this one, if I'm being totally honest, which is not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people like Listen, but personally I wasn't a massive fan of it, so it just depends. We'll have to just wait and see with this one. I do like the idea of talking about fears and sort of almost nightmarish type things, because there's a shot of Yaz waking up, I think. Graham talking about having images projected to him, so a few little interesting bits here and there, but nothing too concrete. Again, gives us enough room to sort of speculate but not really come up with any definitive answers, so we can still enjoy the episode with plenty of surprises. Talk about the cast list and the photos in just a bit, but first we're going to touch upon some actual filming information that we did actually get from this episode. There was one episode which we couldn't quite pin down to a filming block, which included two very weird and wacky looking alien creatures. Because of their sort of low quality that they arrived on Twitter in, the two characters were aptly named Voldemort and Elsa on Twitter, which is quite funny. It looks like Ian Gelder is that sort of Voldemort character, so it's safe to presume that this episode will be the one with those filming images, which took place, I believe, in just a street housing estate in Cardiff. So yeah, again, relating to that whole nighttime dream type thing. Again, it was filmed at night, so that would make sense. So yeah, I guess we'll see, but that's very interesting stuff. I hope, again, as I said when I was talking about the filming for that, I hope these don't look too wacky in person, especially the Elsa one, because of the big sort of blue dress. It looked a bit, I don't know, it looked a bit 80s, and I kind of worry that it goes a little bit too hard on that, because Orphan 55 obviously gave us that sort of animal-y type character with the big fluffy tail, and it just looked a bit crap. So I'm really hoping they don't go too overboard and too adventurous with the whole weird, wacky 80s sci-fi stuff, because then it just kind of takes away from it, because at the end of the day it is still trying to be a modern drama that competes with Netflix, as well as trying to be traditional and retro as well. It's trying to strike the right balance. But I think they might be able to get it. Talking about the specific cast members, because there's quite a lot that have been announced, let's break those down as best we can without trying to butcher many people's names. Claire Hope Ashersey is playing a character called Rakaya, not even joking. Ian Gelder is playing Zelen. Aruhan Gulliver is playing a character called Tahira. I'm just laughing because I feel like I've absolutely butchered that person's name. Serene Saba is playing a character called Maryam. Amanda Liberman is playing a character called Mum. Fair enough. Nasreen Hussain is playing a character called Anita Patel. Everall A. Walsh is playing a character called Gabriel. Michael Keane is playing a character called Fred. Anthony Taylor is playing a character called Andrew. I'm going to butcher this one, but Boam Tingang is playing Tibbo. Doesn't help with the Yorkshire accent, I'm sorry. And Willie Jonah is playing Old Tibbo. So that's interesting. And we've also got Sonia Khan, aka Yasmin's sister, appearing in this episode as well, which is great. There's a lot of sort of alien-y type sounding creatures there, and sort of characters, you know, the weird, wacky sort of futuristic type names, which you wouldn't usually expect to see on people, so that's quite interesting. But there's also a few which fit to the time zone, of course, from I think it's Aleppo they're going to go to at some point in a sort of time period kind of piece in Syria, so that's kind of interesting. So there'll be a few traditional sounding names, a few futuristic sounding names from the sort of weird alien monster things that are in this episode, as well as a few modern people as well. Tibble and Old Tibble, I wonder if it's going to explore the character over different time zones and have a look at them, you know, maybe see them when they're older or something, like, I don't know, but, you know, the fact that it's got two different versions of the same character, that could be some sort of weird timey-wimey type thing, or that could actually just be them visiting different people. Now we're going to talk about photos for the episode. Officially released promotional photos. There's actually quite a lot for this episode, but we're going to try and break them down as best as possible, but there's nothing really, again, to break down, but yeah. Here we go. So this first shot here is of Jodie Whittaker as 13th Doctor in handcuffs tied above her head.
Oh, kinky!
Yeah, I don't. Not really too much to break down, but I know Twitter's had a lot of fun memeing that one. We've got the next shot, which is of Graham, looking to be in the same sort of alien ship as Jodie was in the previous shot. There's a lot of interior alien-y type, techie type designs in this episode by the looks of it, especially from the promotional photo. But again, this seems to be Graham in the alien spaceship. This is Ian Gelder's character by the name of, what was it, Zellin, which again looks to be in some sort of spaceship. You've got Yasmin here in the spaceship, Jodie again in the spaceship. A nice shot here of Aleppo, for, you know, the sort of ancient Syria that we're looking at, with some very period piece looking characters. I actually quite like the look and the sort of vibe of this. It actually gives off that nice sort of period feel to it, and you know, it's quite good. We've got another shot here. We've got Ryan in the TARDIS, general sort of promotional photo. The interesting thing about this is, and we'll talk about this in more detail in just a minute, but look at the costume he's wearing, and then sort of picking out where in the sort of series trailers he wore that costume, you know, what he was doing in those scenes, because that'll be from this episode. We've got a shot of Jodie here working on something. I mean, there's just a load of bits and bats lying around the TARDIS that's just messing about with. So again, nothing really too much to break down there. This is just standard 13th Doctor. And here's the other one I wanted to talk about. So we've got a shot of Ryan and Yasmin just sort of sitting together, seemingly just talking whilst maybe the 13th Doctor does stuff in the background. In the trailer, or maybe I think it was the release date trailer, I think it was, or perhaps it might have been the mid-series trailer, I can't even remember, but Ryan did wear this top when he was sort of talking to Yasmin about maybe considering leaving the TARDIS. Maybe there was some sort of hint there, because he sort of mentioned, is this just our life, you know, just keep doing this and this and this. So maybe there'll be sort of an interesting conversation there which could hint towards a companion departure. I don't think we're going to see a companion depart by episode 10, but I think we might see one depart by the end of the Christmas special, New Year's Day special, whatever the special is for after series 12, the Dalek one. Whoever leaves in that one, I think someone will leave in that one, but I don't think in this series. I just think mainly because we've seen them all filming the special, and it wouldn't really make sense unless they leave and then come back, you know. But then we got Moffat syndrome again, so we don't really want that. We've got a fab shot here of what looks again to be Aleppo in sort of night time, with a gorgeous shot of the TARDIS and the lights sort of shining through. Really, really like that one. But again, doesn't really tell us much. We've got another shot here of a sort of civilian again in Aleppo. The sort of TARDIS team plus Ryan's friend from episode 1, Spyfall, sort of standing with them, which is quite interesting. So seemingly going to get Yasmin's sister, Ryan's friends involved, sort of again with it being more Earth-like. About time we got some more family and friends stuff, because, you know, they have lives, these characters. Let's not forget that. You know, to actually develop these characters and give them more depth is to give them friends and families and actual real lives, opposed to just feeling like actors reading a script. So yeah, I am very happy to see one of Ryan's friends here get dragged in, a little bit like Mickey, you know, from series 1. He got sort of dragged in and didn't really know what was going on. But he seems to be travelling in the TARDIS a little bit, because this looks to be, again, ancient Syria. We've got one of the Syrian civilians there peeking at the side of the TARDIS. Nothing too big, nothing too special again, but the background does look to be like that alien spaceship, so who knows, maybe they're coming along for the adventure as well. The next shot we've got here is of the TARDIS team plus the Syrian civilian on this sort of alien spaceship. It's a great team shot. I'm not really sure what the context is. Again, there's a lot of alien spaceship shots, so I don't really know off the top of my head, but it looks quite nice. We've got a great shot here of Toast and Co, Ryan, seemingly I think in his house or maybe a flat or something like that, seeing what I think is probably going to be Ian Gelder's character, because it's, you know, it's the bald head, but it's so out of focus that you can't really quite tell. So I quite like that. Leaves it up for debate, leaves it up for sort of a bit of guesswork maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to guess it's Ian Gelder's character. And finally we got a shot of Yaz next to a police car in the road. We are finally remembering Yaz has a job. Brilliant. That's great stuff. Glad to see that. But yeah, no, that's basically it for the photos, and there's not really too much else to break down. It's going to jump between 2 or 3 different time zones again, a little bit like Spyfall, but a little bit more controlled this time. Exploring hopefully dreams, hopefully fears a little bit. That's quite clever. So we did a little bit of that in the God Complex, so I wonder if it's going to take strides from that. I hope so, because I really enjoyed the God Complex personally. More character stuff with Ryan, Yaz, and again, yeah, just jumping between nice looking set pieces. It looks to be an interesting episode, and I'm hopeful for this one. I am actually quite hopeful. I didn't really enjoy Praxius too much, so I'm hoping for something to pick it up again in time for the final 3 Cyberman episodes. By the looks of it, I mean, I don't know whether that's true, but the last 2 are definitely Cybermen, and episode 8. Next week seems to be the Mary Shelley one, so we will see how that sort of joins in. Very much looking forward to it though. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think this episode is going to be good? Do you think this episode is going to be bad? Let me know in the comments below. I'll happily read them. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you haven't already. We've got a Patreon page, we've got a Discord server, I've got social media, and that's all linked in the description below. I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.